Hi, Cheldon. Nice to formally and virtually meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So I'm speaking with Chel, who is a composer. You are a multi-talented artist based here in Toronto, and you work with sounds and visuals. But that's sort of what I read about you. I kind of want to hear you introduce yourself and sort of your realm of work, if that's all right.
Yeah, no, totally. Um, yeah, I originally, what led me into this whole music thing was turntablism, really. Just the
Hmm.
interest in record players and scratching vinyl. And that was really my introduction. And then I started like getting into more DJ culture stuff, beat matching, mixing, and doing
Hmm.
parties and stuff like that. But now, I just see myself as an artist, just an artist that encompasses a bunch of things. It's sound, it's visual, it's sort of like whatever things help me to tell my story, really,
Hmm.
at this point. So it's been a long process to get there. It didn't happen overnight. It's just like the more and the deeper you get into exploring and experimenting,
Right.
um, the more you discover other ways of saying telling your story, just like making it a
Hmm.
little bit clearer. So yeah, I'm a
Right.
multi artist now is how I like to
Yeah.
look at
So
myself. Yeah.
I like how I'm speaking with different artists lately, and I love the idea of multidisciplinary
Yeah.
because really it's all encompassing. Like you said, art is all encompassing,
Yeah.
and you work in different types of media, like in terms of sound, visuals, and turntables. So let's talk a little bit about your interest in turning tables
Yeah.
and sort of how that started and how,
Yeah.
in a way, that's led you to a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
A lot of folks maybe don't think of being turntablists and leading into other genres of work.
Yes. Yeah. So for me, it's I think the real interest in the turntable is just the fact of how vast the sounds can be,
Hmm.
because it's an instrument that plays records, recordings from all different periods of time, all over the world, many
Hmm.
types of instruments. So it's like this like almost like limitless source of sounds. And especially once you start slowing stuff down or actually like putting your hand on the record player and moving it around in a different way, manipulating the sound, it
Hmm.
just opens up a whole other door. So I think that what made the transition for me being just solely a turntablist and focusing in the realms of like DJing at parties and scratching over
Hmm.
beats and stuff, it's spending a lot of time with the instrument and seeing what else it can do, more than just putting a record on, letting it play,
Hmm.
or just spinning back to back different songs that are out there. It's what else can it do when it's like played backwards, slowed down, like
Hmm. Hmm.
just trying different parts of the turntable and seeing. So I think just many years of really honing in on that skill and feeling comfortable with the
Yes.
oddness of it, uh, that starts to just sort of define, I guess, myself as an artist and give me more confidence. So I feel like once I had that confidence, I'm not scared of like weird sounds that come out of it. It allowed me to kind of take that and then go into other realms, go and collaborate with different disciplines. And
Hmm.
and that's the key. The key really just like being so comfortable with that tool that you use. So anywhere you go, you're just adding your element to that other place, you know? And you learn so much by doing so too, because everybody has something to bring to the table and it enhances what you do as well. So
Hmm.
that's where it starts.
Nice. I like that. I like that description. I'm also thinking of, I'm familiar with your work from the theater world. I, I, I had heard about you, but I didn't know what that meant in terms of uh, your work with Soundstreams, which we'll talk about a little bit in terms of like actual music performance, and then working with other disciplines like theater. So maybe let's rewind a little bit and talk about your inspirations when you're working in a setting like a theater versus maybe working in a performance like Soundstreams where you may have other live musicians and other
Uh-huh.
things going on.
Uh-huh. Yeah, nowadays I try to just make them all the same.
Mm,
It's kind of like I just have this thing about stage, and it's something I've thought about a long, long time ago. So even when I was doing primarily music focused shows, like
yeah.
if I was playing at a bar or something like that, I would still treat the stage as how could I say, as a place to basically like share a vision, you
Hmm.
know? So no matter where it is, that stage is a space where I can do whatever I need to do to help people see my vision even more.
Hmm.
So I used to, when there would be a table set up or something, I would start covering it with something, like decorating it. I would
Hmm.
bring a couple props to hang or something. I'd wear I wear a crown in
Yes.
just so that I'm creating another world, like another reality.
Hmm.
Um, so that people don't feel like they're just at a bar again. And for myself too, to feel like I'm just in another space. So it was an easy kind of transition to go from that to the theater because
Hmm.
I just love that idea of people sit down and then they just get taken away into a dream, into a magical place, a world. And that's through lighting, through sound, through costume, all that stuff. I don't see it as a different thing,
Hmm. Hmm.
nowadays. So
Yeah.
I'll talk more about the Soundstreams piece after, but it's that idea as well too, where people might expect it to be just the regular, music and here's a
Right.
composition, blah blah blah. But there's going to be so much more to it than that.
Right. Hmm. So when you're preparing for, for a stage, whichever
Yeah.
stage going to be,
Mhm.
what does that look like for you? Do you listen to specific types of
Mhm.
music? Do you work with your turntables at home? I kind of
Mhm.
want to know what's a day in the life for you before going
Yeah.
on.
Well, I'm very into just nature, things that are just a little bit like odd and strange and just that fascinate me. And nature is one of those things, like I can
Hmm.
just stare at water for hours and just seeing how waves ripple and the
Hmm.
different changes or the wind and how it affects the leaves and stuff. So it's things like that, like just observing, listening. It's the same approach I have with my turntable. It's like I'll sometimes just play something really slow and backwards for a bit, and then it just starts to get my imagination going. I'm also a
Right.
big fan of science fiction movies and stuff like that, where it is this idea of just like you get this imagination and then you just go with it. Like once you get a spark, you just go with no limits. Nobody
Hmm.
telling you where to stop at the border. You just kind of keep going, and ideas just kind of start, they keep flowing in that way.
Hmm.
So it's a lot of, yeah, just like quiet time. You know, it's funny because like usually people would think because I make music
Yeah.
and creative stuff that I'm listening to music all the
All the
time. But
time.
that's not the case at all.
Right.
Like, it's not the case at all. In fact, I'm spending a lot of time in quiet, or like
Mm.
going into nature, and it helps me to get clearer thoughts and clearer visions. And also carry a notebook around because things just pop up. You never know when. So I
Mm.
put everything down. Um, and that definitely helps. So my inspiration is definitely like from the things around me,
Hmm.
the environment, just seeing things that are outside of the work that I do as well. So other sorts of trades or skills or performances. Like I get little bits everywhere that kind of
Hmm.
give me cool ideas. Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of makes sense that you kind of need time away from music and just kind of ground yourself.
Yeah.
Are you somebody who also collects sounds like from
Mhm.
nature? Like, do you record just to
Yeah.
have kind of like you know, like a toolkit?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe it's like no sound is off limit. It's all out there for us to hear and experience. So
Hmm.
I will record field recordings of, yeah, outside, the wind, the cars, birds, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, I sample records. Obviously
Right.
there's gray areas there and large conversations around that, but
Hmm.
I really take those things and turn them into something absolutely unrecognizable when I do sample.
Hmm.
So it's more about just having textures and just sound waves to play with, but they will be
Right.
stretched, flipped, layered, all kinds of things happens to it. But so I just see it more as like mixing paints and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think that's
No,
that's it for me. I
no,
kind of
that
lost my
makes
train of
sense.
thought for a second. Yeah.
That happens, but I do like the idea of the mixing paints because it's still you're creating art um in a way, for us it's going to be auditory but and visual sometimes when we do have visuals complementing your sound mixing. So
Yeah.
I think that would actually it kind of gives us a nice glimpse of how you see your art as well.
Mhm.
I know that you work, you also create for yourself and you have a Bandcamp page. I want to make sure I mention that before I talk about other things. Um, so, uh, talk about maybe creating work that is for your sort of for yourself in a way that it's available to us on Bandcamp versus, I know it's still a stage, the idea of being on a stage, but maybe is there a bit more freedom if you're working on things for yourself versus a commission piece?
Right. Yeah, definitely. When I'm working on stuff for myself, it is really just I'm first and foremost, it's for me, you know. It's experimentation. It's like me just having fun in my dungeon, just like making these mixes and then cool things come out of it. And it just
Mhm,
excites me, you know. So first and foremost, I want to make sure that I feel good about the work. And
mhm,
there is freedom. There is freedom when it's just like I just create my own rules and go for sure.
right, mhm,
I do enjoy also getting things like commissions or someone giving me a theme and then I can kind of
mhm,
play with it. That's also a fun challenge and it tests my skills, at this
right,
point of where I'm at. So to be able to still take hints from elsewhere and it still have my technique, my way of crafting
mhm,
in it too. So I do really enjoy that. Yeah, for
mhm.
sure. Um,
That's interesting because I know you've collaborated with Soundstreams on more than one occasion.
yeah,
So, I'm curious. So this latest commission is going to be for this week, actually, coming up on Saturday.
yeah,
And it's my understanding is that it's inspired sort of by a Stravinsky piece.
yes.
Um, that it's called. Let me look at my notes.
Yeah, I'll tell you
Um,
a fanfare for spaces between time.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And so that's the name of your piece. So
my piece.
how do you look at existing compositions and kind
Mhm.
of take that as, as sort of a starting point?
Yeah, well, what really helped me is like when I started sampling and to make beats and stuff, I would use, old classical records and
Hmm.
like just about every jazz records, like all kinds of stuff, and taking segments from there and stretching them and just like mixing them all up. So I've already had that skill
Hmm.
already. Um,
Hmm.
so so with this piece, it was a no-brainer for me. It was easy to hear the piece and get inspired and also kind of be inspired by sections of it
Right.
as well too.
Hmm.
And as my name suggests, slow pitch sound, it's a big part of the way that I work with sounds. I slow
Right.
things down
Hmm.
because when things are really slowed down, it does open up a lot of other doors. Like you hear things that would pass by really quick if it was played at normal speed.
Right. Mm.
So it kind of relates to the piece as well, and why I titled it what I did,
Hmm.
because it is this idea of like time moving by real quick and people missing the moments, those
Right.
spaces, right,
Hmm.
between time.
Hmm.
So I'm playing with that. I'm using elements. It's already a short piece. The original Stravinsky piece is like
Right.
30
Yes.
seconds.
Yeah,
So
it is.
taking that 30 seconds, stretching it out, and seeing what bits inspire other things to happen. And that's how this piece was created. It
Hmm.
was it was taking little riffs and little melodies and then putting my spin on top, and
Yeah.
also with trumpet players
I was going to
Emily,
ask about
yeah,
that. Yes.
Emily Fortin and Amy Horvey, who are absolutely amazing and been really great to work with. It's just been such an easy process.
That's great to hear.
But yeah, it's like getting you starting it rolling and then it inspires something in them and then it just keeps bouncing around. So I love that
Mm.
about the collaboration.
So it's very much about as much as they already have an idea of what the piece sounds like, it's also being in the moment live. So I'm thinking of when I'm in the you know auditorium, an audience member, there are things happening in the moment, even though in your minds you already know where you're going. Does that also
Yeah.
affect you, like the way maybe the audience is taking in the performance or the energy in the room, so to speak?
Yeah, it does because like it's a new avenue for me, like doing compositions, like written composition. So
Mm-hmm.
the way this one was created is that there is a roadmap,
Mm-hmm.
but that roadmap could slightly change here and there, you know. So there is that level of improvisation in there, but there is the thing that keeps us going the right direction still,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know. So in this piece, there are going to be little hints, like those who know the original piece
Mm-hmm.
will hear little moments and ideas that remind them of the original piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it still has like that flavor, but it's going to be in like our way, you know.
Nice.
So
Nice.
and
I'm
stretched
looking
out, I
for-
think. Yeah,
So do you know how long it is? Because the original is like 30 seconds, like you said.
yeah. So we're taking the 30 seconds
Yes.
and inspired by that and influenced by that, it's going to be up to about 10 minutes
Oh, wow.
of music.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
and
that's that's quite the stretch of moments.
it's a stretch of moments. Yes.
Nice.
So it's going to be really cool because it's also going to make use of space as well. So not just
Mm,
like sounds moving around, but
right.
actually bodies moving as well too.
Oh,
So
I'm
yeah, so
intrigued.
it's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be pretty cool. I'm
Nice.
very excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So thank you for sharing a little bit of about that so that we are
Yeah.
sort of, primed for it. So that's excellent. You're working with Soundstreams for this weekend, but you're busy. You're a busy artist. What else is on it's happening at your end in terms of upcoming projects or simultaneously performing anywhere else?
Yeah, so currently I've been doing some more theater work. I've been again back with Bad New Days,
Yeah, nice.
theater company, and yeah, we did the Italian Mime Suicide, which won a
Hmm.
bunch of Doras.
Yes,
So
congrats.
that was pretty awesome. And
Mhm.
we're concocting some new work, hopefully for 2024.
Mhm.
And in April, later April, I'm doing some work with the Array Music Ensemble,
Oh, nice.
and I'm also writing music for them as well too, and that's gonna be
Oh,
fun and exciting, and eh, yeah, I feel good about that. You know, this taking this new path of doing composition writing, well, graphic score type style
right.
writing,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So I'm excited that this will be actually that will then be my third time doing something. So this actually piece is probably the second time. I've done something with Soundstreams probably like 4 or 5 years ago now,
That's
with
hmm.
the Griffin Trio.
Hmm.
Um,
That's a cool video, by the way.
oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really fun project to do, and it just definitely opened up my mind into the possibilities of what else
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of do. So that's couple couple festivals to be announced in the summer, and I'm still working on music, always working on music. Don't have an actual date when I'll be releasing some new music, but things are always kind of cooking.
Nice.
And what else am I missing? I'm going to be going to Salt Springs Island in the summer to do a workshop there, like building some music for a project called A Criminal Waste of Time.
Oh, wow.
And that's gonna be fun, just out there on like
Yeah.
farmland, out and amongst the trees, just creating some stuff. So
Very.
yeah, lots of good things cooking. I'm really excited, and there are things that are they're like new. They're what I'm excited about is that they're like new adventures, and it's things that
Mm.
go and sort of like out of my comfort zone a little more, like
Yeah.
doing these pieces where I'm doing scores and stuff. That's great for me, and I always want to continue to have those moments so
Right.
that I can just keep it fresh and keep me kind of excited to kind of create and dive in deeper into other worlds.
Yeah, it
So
sounds
yeah.
exciting. I mean, I can see how your work can lend itself to many things, including film, not just theater, and a lot of other possibilities. So we'll keep tab on what's happening.
Yeah.
So I mentioned you have Bandcamp for people who want to support your musical work, but where can other people find you in terms of, do you have a website? Do you prefer Instagram? Plug yourself.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at SlowPitchSound. Everywhere else the same thing at SlowPitchSound.
Mhm.
Mainly I'm on Instagram. I've kind of slowed down there because I've just been busy with a bunch of projects right now.
Mhm.
But that would be my main spot. Sometimes on what's the other one? Twitter.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I do have a website and it just has everything there. There's videos, music,
Mhm.
links to a lot of information, and that's slowpitchsound.com for
Yes,
that.
I'll be sure to link that so people can follow you and your upcoming works as well. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Chell. I am looking forward to Saturday. Thank you
Yeah.
for the insider look and congratulations on everything else. It's a
Thanks,
lot of
Heidi. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, it's been nice talking to you. Thank you so much.
likewise.